Katt Williams has been saying this for a while now, and at this point, it's getting harder to ignore. Long before anything official came out, he was already pointing fingers at powerful people and suggesting that a lot was being hidden in plain sight. Now that the Epstein documents have been released, what he said back then is starting to hit differently. It doesn't sound wild anymore. It sounds like a warning people didn't take seriously. When Katt appeared on Club Shay Shay, he wasn't just being funny. He was speaking on things most people in Hollywood avoid completely. He suggested that major celebrities, not just politicians, were tied to situations they wouldn't want exposed. At the time, a lot of people dismissed him. Some thought he was just bitter or looking for attention. But now, with actual names showing up in legal records and flight logs, it's becoming harder for people to just brush it off. When the Epstein files became public, a lot of fans immediately went into defense mode. People didn't want to believe that celebrities they admire could be connected to something serious. One name that triggered a huge reaction was Jay-Z.
Take people like Jay-Z and Pusha T, they made their living killing our people. So how the fuck they gonna stand up for our people? You know what I'm saying? But we forget that because we love Jay-Z's music so much. We love Pusha's music so much, right? But you think they would ever, Beyonce had the best fit for somebody else?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You think they would ever tell the truth? No, if they told the truth, they ain't go to jail. You know what I'm saying? So you have liars.
Man.
Liars are now the face of our...
Jay-Z has always been around influential circles, and older footage started resurfacing, showing his connections with powerful figures like Harvey Weinstein.
In your thoughts on Donald Trump and what it means for mass incarceration?
You know what? This is a labor of love for Jay, and as a result, he's my friend. We're here to talk about that and nothing else.
Well, then can I ask you about mass incarceration? And do you think the movement is...
At the same time, older party footage and photos started making the rounds again, showing Jay-Z in spaces with people who are now being questioned. Back then, Kanye's comments were mostly ignored or laughed at. Now, people are going back and listening more carefully. And that's just the beginning. Other well-known names mentioned in the documents are also being looked at more closely. Naomi Campbell, for example, showed up in flight records with multiple trips on Epstein's jet during the early 2000s. She has denied knowing anything about his crimes and has publicly supported victims. Still, with old clips and emails resurfacing, people are questioning what she actually knew and whether she had any involvement in bringing young models into certain environments under the promise of work.
Shocked that there's nothing about Naomi Campbell really coming forward yet. I'm surprised. I'm like bitterly surprised. Her time.
Yeah, they said her name was on the list like the most as far as like flight records.
Yeah.
She was on a lot of flights.
A lot of flights.
You mentioned
also Diddy's ex-girlfriend.
Hey.
Isn't that funny? What a small world.
There you go.
After the party is the hotel lobby. After the hey.
Come on, Jack. Come on. Hey.
You want to know what's funny, though?
Yeah.
Naomi Campbell is finally being dressed.
Yeah. What? Y'all ain't heard?
Cruella DeVille is finally being checked.
Wow. Hey, I've seen some shit. I've seen something on that.
Listen to me, any woman that Mike Tyson has to put a restraining order on needs to be checked.
That is facts. Them is facts. Oh, wait, hold on, wait.
I keep telling everybody, she the Ghislaine.
Man.
I'm still trying to figure out how she pulled that off. Where she was able to get a white woman to go to jail for.
Then there's Bill Gates. He previously admitted in an interview that his meetings with Epstein were a mistake, saying they were limited and not ongoing.
I was foolish to spend time with him. I was one of many people who regret ever knowing him. No, apparently Jeffrey wrote an email to himself. That email was never sent. The email is, false. So I don't know what his thinking was there. It just reminds me, every minute I spent with him, I regret and I, apologize that I did that. It's factually true that I was only at dinners. I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behavior.
Chris Trucker's name also appeared, connected to a flight on Epstein's plane years ago. Of course, being listed doesn't automatically mean guilt, but when more and more familiar names keep appearing, people start asking questions.
Jeffrey Epstein, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. We flew Bill Clinton and a lot of different, that was a humanitarian trip to Africa. And yeah. I met him on that trip because it was his plane. I didn't know who plane we was getting on, but it was a whole bunch of dignitary people. We was with a delegation. And yeah, I met him and you don't know people, what they do in their private lives. So, yeah.
But tell me this, Chris. You was on this private plane, and you could tell that it was a private plane because they called it, was it Lolita Express?
Oh, yeah, it was a private plane. Yes. Oh, yes.
But wait a minute. You didn't never go to that island, did you?
No. I don't know where that thing at. No. I don't think. Hey, we was going to Africa to save.
Reports suggested that the same trip included Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey, which move it seem more official or harmless on the surface. Still, a lot of people weren't convinced.
Hey, I know Donald Trump. Hey, I know Kevin Spacey. Hey, I know Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, did he ever talk about these celebrities and like these stories with them or anything like that?
No, he would tell me things like I knew when he flew Clinton to Africa, which is what first put him on the map. He told me he went to Africa. He took Spacey, Chris Tucker. He would tell me, mention people's names that he was with, but he wouldn't tell me much about them themselves. Mm-hmm. But, he would tell me he was with so-and-so.
Bringing Bill Clinton into it only added more doubt. Photos of him at Epstein's property have circulated for years, and many feel those images don't match the idea that he was completely unaware of what was happening.
Adjacent to or, traveling in the same circles as the person that's been selected to be this icon. Because let's just be very clear. He was selected, just like Diddy was selected. Question is by who? Now, for many years, I minded my business about a lot of things, but a lot of things came to me. I heard a lot of things. You got to remember, this was back when I was still trying to be amicable with the industry so that I could have my career, so that I could have my life, right? Everything that I worked for, everything that I sacrificed. Up until, 2016, 2017, I was still ignoring a lot of things. A lot of things. It wasn't until I couldn't ignore it anymore because I realized this ain't going nowhere. And then when I started seeing exactly how dangerous things have become, it was very simple. It's either you're going to speak up or they're going to keep getting away with it, or you're going to get handled up on regardless because you're not playing along the way you should be playing along. Like that's how this works. Like the people that get rewarded are the people that keep the secrets, the people that are quiet, and the people that lie for them. The people who get a pass are the people who pretend that like they don't know what's going on. And then the people that speak up are the people that, get persecuted, get framed, get trashed, are forced to go broke, that kind of shit. So yeah, like I cannot say that it was an overnight process. I I was hoping. See, I was always so quick to just blame, all of the harm and just the terrible shit in the industry on Diddy. I wasn't really willing to accept the fact that they were.
At a certain point, she said she couldn't stay quiet anymore. In her view, the industry doesn't reward people for telling the truth. It rewards those who stay silent. The ones who go along with things or pretend not to notice are often the ones who stay protected.
Jag, with Jay-Z in his situation, as far as the early Jay-Z, you see him with Aaliyah Young, of course, goes to Dame Dash next. You see him with Foxy Brown. You see the maturation of Beyonce and him getting with Beyonce. You see Rihanna at a young age. Is it more so, and you were young as a singer, is it more so that, when you're in this industry, men are going to most likely talk and date their peers? And it's just that technically all the new rising stars at that time
Are
were
babies.
just young women, just young kids.
Babies.
Babies.
Being ran around by grown men. Babies. I got offered my first record deal when I was 13 years old. I got offered another one when I was 15. I'm so grateful that my father said no. I ended up not signing a record deal until I was in my early 20s. And as young as that is, looking back now, at least I was a legal adult. Most of these girls, they get moved around and touched around very early on. And, and the people that have control of everything are untouchable. So how do you argue with that?
Is it of concern that before this list came out, that the people in this power they have their hands in keeping this list, suppressed?
Yeah. Come on, man. I think we're speaking about this from a place where we're trying to make it seem like things are fair and people are just and people are decent. And rather than looking at it for what it is, the one thing that all of these files and all of these documents, and let's just be clear, we're talking about 3 million documents that have been released so far. When you release that amount of information, you're doing it to fatigue people. It's going to take people quite some time to get through all of these files. And who knows how long they're going to be available. Stuff might start go missing, things of that nature. But we all should be going through and combing through every inch of everything that's going on. Because when they put that much out there, they're hoping you're going to just overlook something. They're hoping you're going to get fatigued from all of the information, and you're not. We got to keep looking. Like, we have 4 people around us that are every day combing through a bit, combing through a bit. We combing through a bit, combing through a bit. And you got to sit down and you got to take your time and look at it. What these files prove is that there are no rules, is that nothing has ever been fair. It's been being covered up.
That's really what it comes down to. She explained that most people choose denial because it's easier. Facing uncomfortable truths isn't something everyone is willing to do. She also called out media figures who downplay everything by saying things like, being named doesn't mean anything, or none of this is confirmed. But Jaguar made it clear, this goes beyond politics.
Administration, don't forget the Biden administration had the ability to release these files as well, and they didn't either.
True.
So this isn't a political thing. Let's stop making it political. I think everyone wants to make it political. Oh, look at the politicians, and this isn't about the rappers, and this isn't about this, and this is about the politicians. No, it's not. No, it's not, because you got Democrats and Republicans equally aligned up in this whole foolishness. This is about a certain class of people in this country that have been doing all kinds of shit. And it really doesn't matter what your religious background is, what your social standing is, or what your political standing is. It really doesn't matter. This is not about them versus us, or no. This is about the weirdos and then the normal people. And not even normal people, just decent people. The problem is that the weirdos are outnumbering, it's looking like, the decent people, 10-1. Like, does anybody get that? Like, the simple fact that nobody is holding TMZ into account for anything, and they've been mentioned in these files. Harvey Levin specifically.
From her perspective, the lack of response says a lot. Elon Musk also came under more attention after the documents came out. He has said before that he turned down invitations to Epstein's island, but emails from 2012 seem to suggest there may have been more interaction than he admitted.
Tonight, the Department of Justice releasing their final batch of files connected to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. New emails from 2012 and 2013 show billionaire Elon Musk and Epstein coordinating a possible visit to the financier's infamous island. Musk asks when the wildest party will be. In another exchange, Epstein telling Musk there is always space for you and says he will send a heli for him. It's not clear if Musk ever visited the island. Musk's name has popped up in prior releases, including from the House Oversight Committee's release from the Epstein estate. He did not respond to NBC News' request for comment, but previously called Epstein a cretin and said he never advised him. Musk told Vanity Fair that Epstein tried repeatedly to get him to his island, but he declined. Emails also show Trump Cabinet Secretary Howard Lutnick coordinating a visit in the Caribbean in 2012. It's not clear if the meetings happened. Lutnick claimed to have cut ties with Epstein in 2005.
My wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again.
But the emails show drink and lunch meetings being arranged between the two well into 2012. A Commerce Secretary spokesperson said in a statement, quote, Secretary Lutnick has had limited interactions with Mr. Epstein in the presence of his wife and has never been accused of wrongdoing. The drop also includes a spreadsheet summary of complaints made to the FBI's National Threat Operations Center. It contained allegations against former President Donald Trump and former President Bill Clinton. There's no indication the FBI turned up evidence supporting the tips. And a note on the file read some of these individuals are reporting secondhand information and determined some of the tips were not credible. The DOJ later temporarily pulled the file without explanation. Both former presidents have denied any wrongdoing.
Woody Allen's name appears several times in the documents as well. Epstein reportedly tried to arrange dinners involving him and other high-profile individuals. He also helped connect people to opportunities related to Allen's film work. In one case, a lawyer even reached out to Epstein asking for help getting his son cast in one of Allen's projects, and Epstein responded that he would try. Katt Williams also brought up another uncomfortable point. He suggested that some public figures maintain a clean image while avoiding consequences, and it's not always clear what's happening behind the scenes. When asked about how people change after reaching a certain level of power, he said that once someone crosses lines they once believed they never would, something shifts permanently. No amount of PR or image control can fully undo that. He also pointed out that this kind of pressure isn't limited to Hollywood, it exists everywhere. According to him, it's part of human behavior. People stay quiet. People go along with things. People justify actions just to keep their place. Katt even admitted that he was surprised when he personally saw how much influence certain individuals had. He described moments where it became obvious that some people weren't used to being told no. If they wanted something, they expected things to move in their favor. Near the end of the conversation, he touched on government agencies and long-standing theories. He didn't completely dismiss them, but instead suggested that people misunderstand how those systems work. According to him, agencies like the FBI and CIA may have been watching and documenting things for years. Sometimes their role isn't to act immediately, but to observe and build records over time. He ended on a note that stuck with people. The reason these files can come out decades later is because someone was keeping track of everything all along. And that idea, more than anything else, is what he believes should make people uncomfortable. Now that everything is out in the open, some celebrities who once seemed untouchable are suddenly quiet, more guarded, or staying out of sight. There's a clear shift happening. And for once, Hollywood doesn't look so confident.